Today's inspiration comes from one of the oldest and most recognizable art movements ever created. Can you guess what it is? For today, I'm using these crayon gel paints that I've had for so long. Oh my goodness. I don't use them often because of the way you have to cure them. But I have a flat brush, a pointed brush, and a liner brush. And these crayon gel paints from, I can't remember the name. I know on Instagram her name was Helene or Helen, something like that. But if I can find it, I'll insert it. But I got these crayon gels, and they're very beautiful colors, but it's hard to work with if you don't know how to use them. So you have to make sure that they're just they're a thicker and a little different more than traditional polishes. So here I'm just going to mix the green, um, the turquoise color. It's obviously settled some, so you have to mix the oils again, rehydrate the paint, and it's going to come out just fine. So I'm going to do that, and I actually thought that these would be um, more perfect for this project because pop art, and that's what we're doing today. If you didn't guess in the beginning, it's supposed to be to feel like bold and painterly. If that's a question, that's a actual word. But here, as you can see, I'm going to lay it on real thin. I mean, as thin as you could possibly get it on your first, especially on your first layering. And you want to cure it probably more than at least 2 minutes because I don't know what's in this paint. And I probably should do a little research because if you don't cure it properly, it's going to wrinkle and it's going to ruin your day, I promise you. Because I will say these gels are a little temperamental. So I'm just going to paint a couple of these. I've already painted a couple of these because I know that this one's going to be a little bit of a longer tutorial or art show to show you how I did these. So of course I just kept going, but like I said, as thin as possible if you're going to use these crayon-like gel paints, if you have those, because I promise you, it's going to ruin your life. Essentially, the nails are going to look the same on both hands, but I'm using a 20 millimeter liner brush to draw some lines on one nail that's going to be different. So if you couldn't tell, for today's palette, I'm using some yellow, of course, green, more tinted blue-ish, so like a turquoise. And then we have some red, black, and white, and a soft skin tone that I'll show you how I mix to get the tone just right for what the face that we're going to create. But basically, bright colors are really the heartbeat of pop art, and that's what we're going for today. Now that I've gotten all of that out of the way, welcome to the NailSclusive Gallery, where fine art, design, and I mean fine art loosely because, you know, but where fine art, design, and culture inspires wearable nail art. Yeah. Every episode invites you, our guest, into a curated exhibition exploring the stories behind the styles. It's not just to show you how to recreate them, but why they matter. So I'm your curator, Jackie, and today we're opening exhibit number 3, our summer collection. I thank you for joining us today. Pop art. Did I scare you? If you ever flipped through a comic book, laughed at a colorful advertisement, or admired like one of those bold graphic illustrations, or you back in my day read the comic book or comic page in the newspaper, you've already experienced the world that inspired today's exhibit. We're giving this, though, our own little twist. Mm. Today we're celebrating pop art with bright summer colors because when I saw it, I was like, I want this to be a happy set. And so comic book graphics and a black heroine right center of our collection. So if you haven't grabbed your brushes by yet, go ahead and grab them and let's get going. As you can see here, I have a couple of the brown. I have a brown that I'm going to tint up for our black character, and I have a little bit of white. And as you can see, I'm going to color code this to get the flesh colored tone that I want to stand so it can stand out. So I'm just mixing just don't use a lot of white. Don't use a lot of white. And then I'm gonna pick up a little bit of this pink. And for the toner, you know what toner is. The toner just helps balance out the color. So it gives the undertone, the hue. So I'm just gonna mix a little bit of a time until I get to the consistency or the color that I am actually wanting to paint with. So now that I intentionally kept this face fairly simple because I wanted everyone to be able to do this. So I know some of you are newer to hand painting, and I really wanted this to feel approachable. So when I think about a face, I always, especially a woman's face, I always think about how we were made in love. And so I just use that. So if you think about a heart and you half it, and that's really what we're going for right now. And then don't think about it too much. Just do half a heart and you'll see it come together as we go. And like I've always stated somewhere or along these lines, it's sometimes the strongest artwork isn't the most detailed. Now here I have some black, it's like see-through, it's like a black jelly, like like fade. Oh, stained glass. I know I was trying to find the word. So here I'm just going to I'm gonna leave this nail kind of simple, but I'm going to use this stain gel to give me a backdrop of what I'm trying to go for as far as at least have some depth to what I'm going to be doing here. I'm going to add some dots to these nails. So wherever I'm putting the gel, the stain gel, I'm going to add some dots and you'll see where we do that at. But I'm going to get the ombre brush and I'm going to like kind of like give it a swish wash so it doesn't look so clumped up and one and just air it out a little bit and that's what we're going for. I don't know, but I think the my favorite part of this might be actually be the dots. It's kind of like soothing and kind of meditate in a meditative state. And these are the dots. They're so simple. If you have a dotting tool, you can have a varying range of size of dots, but you don't really need it if you didn't cure the stain gel glass. Lord have mercy, I can't get all my words out today. So, because it's almost acting as a blooming gel a little bit, not too much. So once you place the dots down, you could either use a big dotting tool. This one is kind of like a smaller one, but you can just use the smaller dotting tool, and it'll as long as you move pretty fast, it won't get to the dots won't get too big that are in the most concentrated area of the stained glass And as you notice, when I do these dots, they are in a diagonal line. So they don't look, they kind of look chaotic, but they're not because they're structured. It's still structured chaos, is basically what I'm saying. But they completely changed the personality of the nail, even though it's just dots. I love that. I love that for this set. So now that so that I won't completely screw up what I'm about to do on top of these nails, I'm going to I'm going to protect the nails. I'm going to go ahead and mat these. And that way it also helps for from slippage during like when I want to use the dotting tool again for whatever what for the additional nails at some point, and also for putting our beautiful face on our figurine and whatnot. And then you can cure this. Fun fact, you guys, pop art emerged in the 1950s and 60s. This is a time where artists began finding inspiration in everyday life. Comic books, advertisements, and magazines and consumer culture, they all became subject worthy of fine art. So bold colors, graphic shapes, and playful storytelling helped define a movement that continues to influence artists today. I believe I mentioned this in the last video. I really have I've been working on this or wanting to execute this for the longest time, and I've found some balance where I can have some time to actually do this. And I just noticed something in the summer collection that, I wanted to have the exhibits, but I didn't really know how I was going to go about it. And now I'm creating tiny art exhibits. And we already know a lot of people don't go to museums and art shows anymore, not unless you're in those what they would call posh areas of like New York designer districts and stuff like that. Anyway, but it's like now we can have a new this is we can control the new era of how art is defined. And if you're into nail art or any kind of art, I encourage you to start that channel. Do whatever it is that you love to do. You will find your tribe. I'm still finding mine at this point. I have no idea who my tribe is, but I am putting it out here and willing to show and show and just learn in public. Like learn. This is learning in public. I encourage anybody who is scared to do it to just do it. It took me really long time to even get to this part. So, as you continue to come and visit my gallery, I'll get better at the editing and the lighting. I do not know anything about lighting, but have consulted with ChatGPT since I've looked at so many YouTube videos already on lighting that I got more confused than ever. But it's really trial and error. So I encourage you really to get out there. So, but back to what I'm doing here, I'm just going to pop some really bright green on this lady, and she's going to be electric. I don't know her name yet. We're going to name her by the end of this video, I think, but she's electric. You know, back to what I was saying, in creating these tiny little art exhibits though, I think this is way more fun than just having to talk through a tutorial. If you want a tutorial, of course, there are so many other channels that do that and they do it so very well. I encourage you to subscribe to them. But subscribe to me too if you want to continue coming to the art exhibits and sharing your view of the art in the art nail journal aka comment section. I appreciate it so much. Do y'all see me struggling here? This is what happens when you're using the 10 millimeter when you could have been using the pointy round brush to fill in the circle more complete, be a more complete circle. Okay, I'm gonna create a word pop here where you see those words pop out on when somebody says something. What you do is you just create a big enough circle, hopefully that you can write. And then all you do is pull, you'll see like you just pull a little bit of the paint out at an angle so that you can get those triangles. So you basically just making big triangles and mini triangles. So I would say for a nail this size, you do two on big triangles, diagonal triangles at on the top, and then one smaller one, and try to kind of like counteract that with one huge triangle. Well, not huge. Well, it depends on what you're going for. One huge one at the bottom, going straight down, and then the two on the side, kind of at the angle. That way you get a little bit. And if it looks crazy, don't worry about it. You have to work the chaos before you get to the end destination. Now for the lips, I'm going to take this 10 millimeter brush and we're going to just, if you never made lips, maybe to think about it like a little M, go like a M, like a lowercase m, and then just keep making that M a little bit bigger until you get to that kind of like almost I guess almost like a two halves of a heart, but not really, because I can't really explain. I don't. If you can't explain it, then you don't know what you're doing, right? But basically, you just want the M's to be a little bit bigger and bigger. So you just trace it out until and end it on a thin line. every time. So that way you get the thickness of the lip that you want and then the thinness of at the corners of the mouth that you need. And that's all you're gonna do. And as you can tell, I'm just tweaking, just getting a little bit of that black around the outer edges. The details are always going to make everything a little bit better. So I'm going to add a little bit of teeth or a lot, and we're going to go from there. Here we go with the dotting. So at the dots, like I said, we're going at a diagonal, so it's not like they're everywhere. So if we start at the center, you can go up and then try to find a dot that you want to coincide with it and just go at the angle for the other ones. That way it doesn't look like it's a whole bunch of dots, but they're organ. I don't know how else to explain that. It's organized dots. These dots actually have a name. They're called Ben Day. Ben Ben Day knots. Dots. If you look closely, you'll notice that the Ben Day dots woven through this exhibit originally used in comic books and newspapers to create color and shading. These tiny dots became one of pop art's most iconic visual signatures. Then decades later, they still capture the energy, humor, and larger than life personality that makes this movement instantly recognizable. Because you know when you see those dots, like in Batman on TV when they come up when what's his name? Adam, what's his name? He's sadly passed now, but he's hilarious. He actually was the voice on Family Guy too, if you ever watched that show. Anyway, I know I'm getting all sidetracked and everything, but yeah, it's so recognizable through everything. You hear that pow, wow, those things. Okay, so for the comic book words though, and that's what we're doing now. I'm using a 5 millimeter liner brush because if you think about when you write, you don't write with a long like if you ever had a mechanical pencil, you don't use the whole lead pencil to write whatever you're going to write, right? You use just enough to come out of the pencil so that you can write. So that's what the thought process is for when you want to write lettering on these little tiny nails. And obviously I messed up, so we're going to start again. And those tiny brushes really do, though. They really help create that crispier lettering. So as opposed to a 10 millimeter or 8 millimeter, it's easier to control because it's of the shorter brush and it's not going to be flapping everywhere. Okay, you guys, this exhibit, this exhibit celebrates pop art through a contemporary lens. So while many classic pop art works reflected the people and culture of their era, as you could see if you go and Google pop art, you'll see the images that represented an era. You'll see Marilyn Monroe and all those types of pictures. And today's collection, we are reimagining that bold visual language by centering a Black woman and vibrant summer colors because they were there too. They just weren't as out there as we all know. Okay? Okay? If you know, you know, clock it. But art evolves, right? With every generation. And so do the stories we choose to tell. And this is the one we're telling today. So let's go. Let's go, girls. Let's go. You know, I think one of the reasons I really love nail art and art in general, I love a good bit of paintings as well. I might not own a lot, but I definitely appreciate art. And the reason that is probably is because I grew up in a very, very musical family. And all my life, I had to play a violin all the way through. Went to magnet schools and all that jazz. But anyway, all of my siblings play something as well. One is an accomplished jazz musician, which is very nice. But I played the violin, and until I got into the 12th grade, there were some things that were happening in my life at that time that I wanted to go to Juilliard, and I did not try out either. And and after that, since I knew I wasn't going to be playing violin anymore, I said, "Screw it. I'm going to get these nails because I used to I love when people would come to school with their nails done, but I couldn't get mine done because I had to play the violin. You can't have nails and play the violin. That's crazy. Anywho, you will sound crazy if you did that. But anywho, I love nail art when I went and got my senior pictures and all that. I just never took them. I never stopped wearing them. I would take my little $25 and go down to the shop and get them done. And then when I moved to Chicago, my best friend, she learned how to do nails, and so I used to have her do 'em. I was always having my nails done. And then when the 2020 happened and I could no longer get them done, in Florida because they shut down the shops. I was like, "Oh, heck no, Harpo. I want my nails done." So I ended up learning how to do them myself because of Tino Vogt. Oh my gosh, I love him. I know I put him in every video almost. I love him down. He showed free painting how to paint certain things, and he still does it to this day if you're interested. He's on Instagram, he's on YouTube now as well, but he used to do mainly Instagram, and so I would tune in for hours trying to learn how to paint these nails. And oh my gosh. And like I said, I have a love for art, and it doesn't matter if it's music, painting, or anything like that. But this has been tugged at my heart to do, and I love it, and I can't put them down. I can't put them down. But but I will say because the acrylic, I used to get acrylic a lot, and then the gel, I tried the gel. I don't like the gel because it burned my fingers or something. I don't know. I didn't like it. But since it takes so much time to do those and everything, and I always like to change up, I thought when I figured out how to do press-ons, I was like, yeah, this it. This is it. I can change them at pretty much any time. But the glue I use, it usually stay on so long. I have to like be really careful because I don't want to tear up my nails. So I have to be really careful about how I'm gonna use it. So I use a builder gel on, well, not a builder gel, what they call it? Some kind of like fiber gel on top of my nails so that I can have the press on nails on top of my, I should probably show you one day just to show you if you're interested. Let me know in the comments if you're interested in seeing that, and I will do that. But yeah, this is what it is. As you can see, I'm just adding the final detailings. The details, oh my gosh. Details are just like they bring everything together. When you add the black lines, the edit highlights. Now, I'm going to keep this one very, very basic. I'm not going to do anything crazy because I want beginners to be able to actually do this as well. And as I grow, you grow, right? And that'll be even better because I know I need some improvements everywhere, but and also I'm still really slow at a lot of the things that I'm doing, but at the same time it's like practice makes better. So you have to practice, right? I'm going to go ahead and gloss these bad boys up. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy about this. And I also want you to know, because I will be doing this in this video as well. Please, 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 when you are finished with your press-on nails or gel nails that you're putting on your fingernails, wipe them down with alcohol wipe. You don't want to create an allergic reaction of any sort. And you'll see when I wipe these down that you get a little bit of residue. So you don't want to start itching and don't know why you're itching, because it can take sometimes it can take a long time to develop an irritation, or slow and steady runs the race. But you don't want to take that chance. So go ahead and do that. And before we close today's gallery, I like to give all glory and thanks to God for allowing me to share this gift He's given me with you. I'm truly grateful that we get to create together. And if you enjoyed today's exhibit, I'd love for you to sign the visitor's journal, aka comments, by leaving a comment below. And let me know which piece was your favorite today. And if you'd like to continue exploring wearable art with us here at NailSclusive, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next exhibit. Thank you for visiting NailSclusive Gallery. This exhibit is now closed, but the gallery is always open. I'll see you at the next one.